G, Chris Murray, will be giving you the Dynasty Man League Week 7 Golden Picks. We're about to enter that second half of the season. The first half is closing out. We're about to close out with this week, following up with next week. And this week we got some very interesting games. So without further ado, let's dive into these picks. First up, we got an exhibition matchup for the New Orleans Saints. They're going up against Flair and the Pittsburgh Steelers. 85, pretty much this will be an XP week for him. Easy W, no brainer. Vegas has the Saints favored by 17.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right with my pick. I'm taking 85 on the New Orleans Saints getting a W going into week 8. Next up, we have skill trading the Buffalo Bills versus Darkness and the Tennessee Titans. All right. Darkness and the Tennessee Titans can't seem to stay healthy, man. Every single week, somebody's dropping off, getting placed on the injury list. You know, the training staff, man, this is the team that has to address that, you know, come this offseason, because from the look of things, they're already packed up and putting together their offseason plans on what moves they're going to make and stuff like that. On the other hand, you have skill trading the Buffalo Bills, who seem, you know, even though they're struggling, put together some impressive wins this season. Vegas has the Tennessee Titans favorite by 1.5 points. I don't know why Vegas has them favorite when they're playing with a third-string quarterback. So with my pick, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking skill trading the Buffalo Bills, getting a W going into Week 8. Next up, we have Hamilton and the Minnesota Vikings versus Westside Pablo and the New York Giants. Hamilton entering this matchup sitting at 5-1. The defense is balling. The offense is playing okay football, but they're putting together impressive wins week after week. Westside Pablo, even though this offense is so high power with crazy weapons all over the field, they cannot seem to get things right. And every week seems to be in each game they're playing, but seems to allow the games to get out of hand and fall right through their hands. Vegas has the Giants favorite in this matchup by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. With my pick, I'm taking Hamilton and those blazing hot Minnesota Vikings getting a W going into Week 8. Next up, we have my Cleveland Browns versus T-Pain and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My Cleveland Browns, man, coming off of a W where pretty much our offense was shut down. Lamar Jackson couldn't do anything. He threw 5 interceptions. Our defense couldn't stop a lick of anything. We were just all over the place. This matchup right here, our teams have to come in very focused because we're facing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team who loves to run the ball. And I believe their running back got Offensive Player of the Week for the NFC side of the NFC side. So we're going to have to come very focused. Vegas has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers favorite by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. With my pick, I'm taking my Cleveland Browns getting a bounce back W going into Week 8. Next up, we have Marizi and the Indianapolis Colts versus KP and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, on paper, this Indianapolis Colts team actually looks very good, but the coaching staff cannot seem to figure out how to get things going on either side of the ball. Last week, they went up against New England Patriots and the schemer, and they managed to squeak out with a W. The offense showed some signs of light as far as being able to do what they like to do on the offense side of the ball. However, they're facing a Kansas City Chiefs team who has a high power offense. KP seems, you know, even though it's not the KP that we used to seeing from the past, but he seems to figure out how in games and crucial moments to put together drives and just manage to come out with the W. The Chiefs cannot afford to get into a shootout in this matchup. They're going to have to figure out how to take away the explosive plays and manage to outscore these Chiefs and stop their offense. You don't want to get into a shootout with these Kansas City Chiefs. Vegas has the Chiefs favorite in this matchup by 4.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. I'm taking, with my pick, KP and the Kansas City Chiefs getting a W at home going into Week 8. Next up, we have Taz and the Detroit Lions versus the schemer and the New England Patriots. Taz, I think, you know, even though this Detroit Lions team is, you know, in a rebuilding stage, in my eyes, they're still coming out and they're still playing high-level football. This is not a team that, you know, if they're on your schedule that you can just mark as an easy W. They're going to come out, you know, even though they're still trying to find an identity on who needs to go where and what type of production they can get out of this player or that player. They're going to come out with a solid game plan and going to try to, pretty much get a W. The schemer lost a close one last week. You have to erase that from your memory and come out with a new game plan, because even though you're facing on paper a win, like pretty much a Detroit Lions team that's on a losing end of the stick this season, you have to not fall victim to the trap, because the Detroit Lions, if you allow them, they will come out and pull a rabbit out of their hat and get a W on your ass. So you have to be focused in this matchup. Vegas has the Patriots favored by 10.5 points. I think Vegas jumped through the roof with this one. I don't think this is going to be a crazy blowout game, whereas though, there's a possibility of nuggets being handed out or, donuts. I think with my first upset pick of Week 7, I got the Detroit Lions getting the W over the Patriots going into Week 8. Next up, we have HBO and the Dallas Cowboys versus Matty Ice and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys seem to manage how to be dumping off these old players and these crazy contracts on the users after user after users. I don't know where HBO has been studying his, his negotiation as far as trades go, but wherever you studying that, whoever's teaching you, man, is working, because you are doing some crazy trades that I just seem to can't wrap my mind around how users are falling victim to this, but whatever, man. This week you're going up against Matty Ice and the Philadelphia Eagles, who don't care who you traded, who you're getting, because he's trying to come out and put nothing but nuggets on your head. Matty Ice and these Eagles have not been the Eagles that we have, seen in previous seasons. But they're still sitting at 3-2, balling out. And this is an easy matchup for Matty Ice, I can't picture HBO this cycle, any cycle, beating Matty Ice, because one thing I know about the DML is nobody wants to get that video from HBO. So Vegas has the Eagles favored in this matchup by 7.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. Matty Ice is going to blow the roof off of the motherfucking Dallas Cowboys and send his ass back home with some nuggets, possibly some donuts too. So my pick, I'm taking Matty Ice, getting a W, going into Week 8. Next up, we have an AFC top of the line matchup. We got tight work in the Miami Dolphins versus Expert in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tight work is coming fresh off a bye week, sitting at 4-1, going up against Expert in these Jacksonville Jaguars, who seems to have his number, winning 3 out of the 3 of their previous matchups. And those matchups, I'm telling you right now, tight work, you have to figure out how to bring something new in this matchup right here in this Week 7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Whatever you were doing in the past, it clearly wasn't working. So you're going to have to figure out how to bring something new, something fresh to the table in this matchup, or you will be taking another L to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Expert, you're coming off of a tough loss last week against the LA Chargers. This game right here could not have came at a better time. This is a user that you're familiar with. You're familiar with his game style, how he plays. Couple simple things. Stick to the script. You won 3 out of the 3 matchups. You got W's in all those 3 matchups, and they were all by large margins. Stick to the script. There's no need to start switching things up now. Stick to the script. This is going to be a game that comes down to what user can eliminate the other user's top threat and basically pretty much capitalize on it. So I definitely think in this matchup that it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. And this matchup right here is gonna, I'm telling you, impact the playoff standings come to the end of the cycle. Now, with my pick, Vegas has the Jacksonville Jaguars favorite by 3.5 points. So my pick, man, I definitely think Vegas got this one right. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting a W, going into Week 8. Next up, we have Bruce and the Baltimore Ravens versus the big homie, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens, man, that defense is crazy. Got a chance to experience that defense and play against it last week in my Week 6 matchup, and that defense, you know, whether it's a linebacker, whether it's a defensive lineman, whether it's a safety, cornerback, they're all getting to the ball, and they play as one. They play in sync. You know, they're definitely looking like that Baltimore Ravens defense that was anchored by Hall of Famer Ray Lewis. You know, this week they're going up against the big homie, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think that the Cincinnati Bengals, how they're playing, have enough firepower or just enough of anything to compete with these Baltimore Ravens. So this is a no-brainer. Vegas has the Ravens favored on the road by 3.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. So with my pick, I'm definitely taking the Baltimore Ravens, getting the W going into Week 8. Next up, we got the Bucs and the Chicago Bears versus Kirk and the Green Bay Packers. The Bucs and the Chicago Bears enter this matchup ranked top 10 across the board in all defensive categories. But the number one thing that stands out to me about this Chicago Bears team is the points allowed. They're only giving up a total of 11 points per game. This defense is stingy. They don't want to give up a lick of nothing. But this week, their defense has to be even more stingier, because they're going up against the Green Bay Packers team that if you allow them to basically, you know, create some offense or show some forms of life, they will squeak out a W on you. So the Bears have to be focused this week in their matchup. Now, Kirk and those Green Bay Packers, I think this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. Kirk and those Green Bay Packers, man, what's going on? Y'all ranked top 10. You know, top 10. Top 10 in offense. But y'all can't score the ball in the red zone. What the hell is going on? Let me explain something to you right here, Kurt. You have a potential DML Hall of Fame running back with Cobra. Dog. Ground and pound. Run the ball. Give the ball to that young man. I don't understand why you trying to flip the script. This is a guy that shows you that he can ball out. Even though he's an injury prone running back, but he showed you when he's healthy that he can ball out. Get that man a rock and let him do his thing and be dancing in the end zone. You looking like the Seattle Seahawks team that did not want to give Marshawn Lynch the fucking ball in the red zone. Dog, give that man the rock. Or whatever running back you got back there, give them the rock. Stick to what you know. And what you know how to do is running the ball, man. Come on, baby. Get it together. Now, Vegas has the Bears favored by 10 points. Wow. Vegas just don't believe in the Packers at all. So, with my pick, I'm definitely going to go with Vegas on this one. I'm taking the Bears and that stingy defense, getting the W, going into Week 8. Next up, we have Eddie Forrest and those LA Chargers versus Tone Dog and those Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Eddie Forrest is coming off of the impressive W last week against those Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though Daddy Lee feels as though that this offense is not good at all, ranking them in the middle pack of the DML, I think Daddy Lee got this one wrong. Because this offense is balling out. They're figuring out how to get guys in position to make the best plays. And with them adding Rashard Bass to the mix, that's making this offense even more dangerous. Because now guys have to zero in and put double coverage on this guy, which is giving a lot of guys one-on-one matchups, and they're winning those one-on-one matchups. So this LA Chargers team, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing week after week how better this offense can get. But I'm telling you, I guarantee you, by the end of this season, they're going to be definitely ranked in the top 5. But in this matchup, they're going to have to figure out how to create more explosive plays. And those guys, those other wide receivers out of Rashard Bass, are going to have to figure out how to win the one-on-one matchups, because it's going to be a lot of them in this game. Now, Tone and the Raiders enter this matchup 5-1. This is a division matchup that can either make or break your playoff run. Tone's going to have to figure out how to put together a solid offensive game plan, also a solid defensive game plan. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to have to figure out how to be, take what the defense gives you. Be patient. Don't force the rock. On the defense side of the ball, simple. Eliminate explosive players and eliminate the explosive plays. If you can do those two things on the defensive side of the ball, your offense will flow through this game. If your defense is giving up big plays and they allow this game to get out of hand early, your offense is going to have to figure out how to keep up. And that does not play out too well in the DML, because now you're rushing your reads. You're forcing the action. So you got to control this game on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Vegas has the Raiders favored by 2.5 points. I think in this matchup right here, the Chargers are going to have to open this one up. I'm telling you, he don't want to get into a dogfight out there in the black hole. You don't want to, because that Raiders team is going to be feeding off that home crowd energy, and I'm telling you don't want to. It's going to be crazy. But I think in this matchup right here, it's going to come down. Ooh, it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one. I'm telling you. I think Vegas got this one right. I'm taking Tone and the Raiders, getting the W, going into Week 8. Next up, we have Rich 215 and the Arizona Cardinals versus Sweet 99 and those San Francisco 49ers. Now, the NFC West is pretty much has boycotted on playing against the Arizona Cardinals, handing him 2 forced W's. But on a serious note, man, quarterback Devontae Phillips has been balling out. This dude is playing like a man that's possessed right now. This is a guy who's a rookie quarterback, number one, 66 overall, ranked in the bottom half of the quarterbacks in the DML, undrafted free agent. This guy right now is living his best life. Just made the cover of the DML Sports Magazine, and he's, leading this Arizona Cardinals team right now to a perfect record entering this matchup. So I tip my hat off to you, young man. Keep doing what you do. Now, Sweets 99, what's going on, baby? These San Francisco 49ers were top dogs last year. They went to this matchup sitting at 3-3. Now, even though you sitting at 3-3, I know this is still a dangerous San Francisco 49ers team. But your offense is playing good, but your defense can't seem to figure things out. Like, what's going on out there? Just some advice, man. In this matchup, trust your reads. Stop holding on to that ball for those extra seconds and then trying to force the action, because it's going to be a turnover. You gotta trust your reads, man. Whatever game plan you put together on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, you have to trust that. You have to be confident in that. If you don't trust it or you ain't confident, this is going to be a very, very easy W for the Cardinals. Bring that energy that we know that the 49ers could bring in this matchup. This could be a very interesting game. Now, Vegas has the Cardinals favored by 7.5 points. I'm gonna put the chip on the Cardinals' shoulder, because with my second upset pick of Week 7, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers getting the W going into Week 8 if they play. But moving on. Next up, we have Jay and the Seattle Seahawks versus King Vitamin and Los Angeles Rams. All right, Jay and the Seahawks, man, they seem to be struggling a little bit this season. They had some quarterback concerns. Both guys are seeming to be playing multiple downs. So, you got to figure out who you're going to rock out with, one or the other. Because what you're doing is you're throwing off that flow and that rhythm of the offense. Because now you got one guy who might comes out and complete 7 passes in a row. Now you're pulling him, messing up his rhythm, putting in the next guy. Seattle's going to have to figure things out. And in this matchup right here, this is a no-brainer right here for them because they're facing a struggling Los Angeles Rams team who just can't seem to find no identity, So this is a no-brainer right here for me. But Vegas, however, has the Rams favored in this matchup by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. With my pick, I'm taking Jay and the Seattle Seahawks getting the W going into Week 8. Next up in the last game of this Week 7 card, we have C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers versus Nasty Noop and the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a good game right here, man. This is going to be a good game because we have 2 users who've been playing each other since Madden 2003. Now, you got the Atlanta Falcons who are balling out on the defensive side of the ball, only allowing a total of 9 points per game. Looking like the Atlanta Falcons defense that we know from Madden 16. Can this be the year that we see these Falcons break that barrier and make a playoff run? Now, we have C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers, on the other hand, who is coming off of a tough loss to division mate 85 in those New Orleans Saints last week, only falling short by 2 points. That game had to be a mentally draining game. So in this matchup, can he figure out how to erase that loss last week from his memory, prep his guys up, and go into Atlanta facing a top 5 defense and pull out a W? It's going to be crazy. Both of these guys are going to have to figure out how to bring something new to the table. When you're playing a guy for multiple cycles of Madden, it's like they know every single thing that you're going to move, whether it's when you're motioning the player, when you're audibling, your reads, who you like to throw the ball to, what side of the field you like to run the rock a lot. They become accustomed to that. So these guys are going to have to figure out how to bring something new to the table. Now, Vegas has the Atlanta Falcons favored by 3 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. So, with my pick, going into Week 8, I'm taking C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers, getting the W, going into Week 8. Those are my picks for Week 7. Drop a comment. Let me know who you think is going to pull out the W's, who's going to get the nuggets, who's going to get the donuts in this Week 7 card. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray. We out.